Hey guys, James here with River Lunacy. Got a reel in one hand and a coffee in the other. Must be time to do some upgrades. So this is a 7,000 catfish special. It's a pretty nice looking reel. I mean, not too bad. You know, it's I guess one of the latest additions to the Abu Garcia family. We're going to do some upgrades here. We're going to put us a nice new worm gear on there. That's an upgrade part with the ABEX 7 hybrid ceramic bearing to go on the one side, along with the ceramic paw, of course, so we don't blow that worm gear out. You know, that's one of my favorite upgrade parts. It doesn't wear out. I mean, I've not seen one wear out, but I have seen the metal ones wear out, and it caused me to end my fishing day early. All the line would gang up on one side, the day's over. To go along with that, we got some ABEX 7 hybrid ceramic bearings. These come from HP Bearing. They do a really good job building their bearings. I like them. I've not had a problem with the company. I'll throw their name on out there. And I'm going to try to figure out something to do with this cogwheel. I'm not real satisfied with the way it's setting in there. It's really, I'll just show you on this other reel. It's pretty firm. I mean, it is, you can see it's not turning at all. So I'll show you what I do to fix that. Sometimes what I like to do is I just go ahead and buy a new one with a bearing, an upgrade part, which I didn't do this time. I figure I got enough on here to push the limits pretty good for what I'm going to do here today. But I'll cut this little lip off right here, and then I'll smooth it out with some kind of sanding something anyway, and then I'll add a clip on there, and that'll get that thing moving real nice. Plus it's full of grease, so you don't really need all that stuff on there. Just some light oil or maybe a little bit of grease if you want. It's up to you, either way. Not a big deal. So let's get going here and see what we got going on inside this thing. So the hardest part we're going to go ahead and do first. That's how I like to do my jobs. Get rid of the worst part first. So right here is a screw, which I just removed, and that removes this plate. So let's set that off to the side. Now the next thing, a nice sharp razor. Be real careful when you do this. Really get a grip on things. If you're not real sure about it, don't do it. But you probably can't see underneath this stem is kind of a little bit of a lip here, and I will take that razor blade and just run that right up against that. Okay, see, once I get cut in there and I feel like I'm rubbing that stem, I'll start spinning that wheel. All right, sometimes it takes a few shots at it, and then that'll give me a little ring, and that cogwheel will come right up off of there. All right, starting to look pretty good there. See, that ring just comes up. There it is. All right. So that just pops right on up out of there. Okay. It's gonna come up, and it's gonna slide right up out of there. Just like that. Wow. See all that heavy grease? That's gonna just slow things down massive. I mean, we're gonna have to clean this mess up some. All right, so I smoothed that out nice and smoothly. as best I could. Now, right here is a little C-clip. When you deal with these things, be extra cautious because they will fly across the room if you don't have your finger back behind it somehow or another to stop it. And I know better, and I still occasionally lose one myself. So that just kind of clips right on there, right underneath that little stand there, that stem that sits on. And almost lost it. All right, it's on there. Let's see what the difference is. Well, it's a lot freer than it was. It wasn't moving hardly at all before. I could probably try to shave that down a little better. You know what? That's pretty nice. I kind of like that. All right, so let's get on this other side here. It's where our bearing is. And looks like there's just a little retainer ring. You can kind of see it a little bit. And they go flying too. Luckily, I just caught it. Wow, real close. Throw that over in the dish along with any kind of screws. That's a big tip too, because all it takes is your elbow to rub up against your table or your desk, and there it goes. So we're gonna try to pop this out. Okay, there's that bearing. That little spot's got a little grease. I'm gonna take that out. Another little tiny tip on your ceramic bearings, hybrid ceramic bearings. It's up to you. I don't like to put oil or grease on any of them. Never grease, of course, but if you want to put a little oil on there to slow them down if you think they're too fast, then by all means, go ahead. I like mine to go as fast as they could possibly go, and that means no oil. They don't need oil. A lot of times when I buy them, I will spray them with a carburetor cleaner or a brake fluid, brake cleaner, and then I'll take a compressor and blow all that out just to make sure there's no excess oil, no oil at all on there. All right, we're in business. Now, our little retainer clip. Just kind of goes right back in there. Worm drive, you just flip this little lever piece here, this little plate clip. First thing, actually I forgot, you want to take that paw out so you can get it all out of there, of course. See them metal things, I tell you, that's why I like these other ones so much better. All right, so you're not going to be able to use the old shield that was on there because these are specially drilled out and the end here to hold that bearing. So what we want to do is your flat side here is where your little gear goes. All right, then your open side, of course, where it's drilled out, that's where the bearing goes. I would prefer to just have a double bearing. That's my favorite, but at the moment, nobody around has any. So I was lucky enough to get this, and I had to have it special ordered for the 7000 series. The parts they're not as wide open as you would think for the upgrade stuff. So this slides right on through that hole. All right, I want to get an idea there of where the other hole is where that shield goes in. Hopefully you can see it right in there. All right, and then there's prongs that go. First things first, this guy goes on. All right, don't forget that. And it just pops right in there. Push that in nice and tight. Then your little clip goes back on. You want to do that first before you try putting your paw in and screwing that, because it's going to go all over the place. So the little fat side goes on first. It just goes up under there, no big deal, and then it pops on. Sometimes you might need to use a screwdriver to get it to slide all the way down, but that's pretty good. All right. Then that ceramic paw, you want to try to line it up somewhat the best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll just jiggle it a little bit, and you'll know when you're in place because it's not going to want to move. So that means you're down and you're in place. These guys, and when I do this, I want to do it all the way to one side or the other. Doesn't matter which one, whatever you like. But then it gives you room for your fingers, of course. All right, and your screwdriver. Doesn't need to be down real super tight, just a nice snug pull there. Centrifugal brake pops off of here. That's the bearing is underneath that. Looks like we got the pin here holding it in. There's a little pin that holds that bearing in. And it's really not that easy to get out. Has to be tapped some, I guess. That's gonna be fun getting that back in. All right, we got it. Put that in our tray. Once we get it out, we should be able to grab it with these and there we go. All right. Okay, so we got grease down in there. We don't want that on our ceramic bearing. So let's get that cleaned up and we'll be ready to go. All right, guys, just a little update here. On the right side of the spool, this one is a bigger bearing. It's a size, what is it? 612/4. Okay. And then the one that's in your left side float chamber here, we got the grease all off that 310/4 right there. Got a bunch of the grease off of this guy and shaved that down so it's a lot smoother now with the clip. I mean, you know, way better than what it was. And we got a new bearing in on here, the bigger one. New bearing there, ABEX 7 hybrid ceramic. And we got our worm gear in. We're gonna go ahead and put just a drop of a little strip of oil right down right on down that. Just a little bit. Let that soak in there. All right. So when you put these spools back down, you always want to make sure your little brakes are in. Don't push them hard, just make sure they're in, because if they're out, then they're going to be rubbing on the inside of that frame. It'll just kind of pop in place and your handle will move. Then you know you're in place. All right. Just kind of goes back together the way it's supposed to look. All right, we're all back together here. That's a pretty dramatic change just by doing those simple upgrades for this reel, you know. Not bad. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it. You know, these are not the easiest reels here, the 7000. I'm not really used to these reels so much, but I'm not going to use a reel until it's got hybrid ceramic bearings in it. It's just the way I fish, you know. And that ceramic pawl, I gotta have that. I fish too hard and I'm constantly casting. I don't just throw baits out and sit there. Sometimes I'm casting and I'm drifting left and right and I'm running them baits. So I gotta make sure that that worm gear is safe. Don't want to get stuck on the side of the road kind of deal, you know what I mean? Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. I'm also on Instagram and Fishbrain. If you got any questions, just hit me up.